Hi, in this video, I am going to show you how to use JavaScript in HTML. My name is Chris Mutuma from eTeach Programming. Let's begin. So guys, as you can see, I have my editor open. That is my code editor, Visual Studio Code, and I have my browser open. So I'm using an extension called Live Server. It's a very nice extension. All right, so guys, get Live Server on your Visual Studio Code or on your Atom or the text editor that you're using. If they have um, Live Server, install that to make your our work easier here. So guys, let me show you what I mean by Live Server. If I put an exclamation mark there and save by hitting Control S on my keyboard, you can see the exclamation mark has been added there. All right. So guys, we are going to look at JavaScript. And what is JavaScript? So JavaScript is the programming language of the web, and JavaScript is most popular language in the world. So if you want to become a front-end developer, you need to learn three languages. And the first language is HTML, that is hypertext markup language. The second one is cascading style sheets, which is CSS. And the third one is now a programming language, which is JavaScript, also commonly known as vanilla JavaScript. So guys, in this video, the main aim of this video is to show you how and where you can use JavaScript in HTML, because you can use Java when you're using JavaScript, or rather when you're using JavaScript with HTML, you need to understand and you need to know where you can place your JavaScript code and where you cannot place your JavaScript code, and the reasons why you cannot place that code in that position. So the first place that we can place our JavaScript code is in between the opening and the closing head section. So I'm just going to go under my title here, and I'm going to press enter twice. Then I'll comment that and say JavaScript code, or rather JavaScript script. Let me just call it code now. So here we are going now to, for you to be able to use JavaScript code in an HTML file, you need to put the JavaScript code in between the script tags. So you're going to type script and press tab. Guys, if you're using Emmet, that's the reason why it is closing my tag automatically. So now guys, here inside now the script tag, this is where now we can write our JavaScript code. So I'm going to illustrate here with a few things here. So I'm just going to use a keyword known as let, and this keyword let is used to create variables. All right. So for me to be able now to use this, I'm going to give it a name, a variable name, and let's say I want to print out on the console hello world. So let me just call it name. Okay, let me call it name. Then we have to use an assignment operator, which is equals, and then you can put it either on single quotes, all right, or you can use double quotes. So but it's when you're using quotes here, it's preference. So but most of the developers use single quotes. And then we need to finish now our statement. Now this is what is called a JavaScript statement, though this video is not focusing on statements and uh, use of that is quotation marks. We are going to look at that on another video. So on this one now, to display hello world. All right, or rather, let me not stop. Let me just stop using the normal way that you see most of these tutorials doing it. Let's even say JavaScript is awesome. All right, then I can even put two exclamation marks. So even if I save, guys, you realize that you cannot see any changes here because I've just declared a variable name using the keyword let, then give it a name and assigned a value to that variable. So guys, this name is a container, okay, that contains this value. Now, the next thing I want to do here is to console log. So console log is a way of writing our results to the browser's console. So we are going to see that. So here I'm going to type console. Let me just comment, just use some comment here, guys. And you can see now comments in JavaScript are different from comments in HTML. So you can see this is how we write a comment in HTML, and use of 2 forward slashes is the way we define a comment in JavaScript. And remember that comments are not executed. All right. So this is telling the code that this is not supposed to be executed. So this is declaring a variable. All right. So let me just put that. Then again here, uh, display the results uh, in the console, the browser console. So here, guys, now I'm just going and say console. I think I'll use a very huge space there. Console. Then log is a function. All right. So inside here, I'll just use the variable name, which is name. All right. And then remember always to close JavaScript statements with a colon. So right now, I'm going to save this, but still you're not going to see any results here on the browser. So what we need to do is, if you're using Chrome, right click and go to inspect, and then there is this part console here. Click on that. So you can see already we have whatever variable value that we have here, JavaScript is awesome, being printed here on the console. So let's change this maybe to uh, JavaScript is fun. JavaScript is fun. All right. So if I save this now by pressing Ctrl S, you realize that this has changed. So that has been printed. So let me illustrate again using a mathematical operation. So let's say we have let number 1 equals to 10. Okay, and then let number 2 equals to, let's say, even 5. So I'm just going to do a mathematical calculation here. So we are going to use again another variable to store the results. Let's call it results equals to number 1. Let's say we are adding this together, number 2. All right. Again, we need to end this with semicolon. So now the next thing we are going to do here now, I'm just going to come down here again and do a console.log. All right. Then inside here now, we can log now the results. All right. So this is the variable name, or this is the container. So we need to log out that container. So if I save, you realize that we have 15 here, meaning that number 1, which is 10, plus number 5 equals to 15. All right. So guys, that's one way of using JavaScript code inside of HTML. So guys, this is just an introduction to know where to place your code and where not to place your code. Also, we have now the second way of using JavaScript in HTML, and which is the most recommended way, because the first thing is it reduces, by pressing this the script tags before the closing body tag, it improves the display speed of our HTML document. All right, because now you see this is a code that needs to be interpreted. This is a code that needs to be executed. All right, so this may slow down the display. Okay, so it is always important that you use script before, or rather at the bottom, after every other content, or after every other HTML element. You can now use your script tag before the closing body tag. Okay, so again, we are going to, let me just comment this out. All right, so again, we are going to do the same thing. So let me just copy this, and then we can paste them there. So guys, when I save, you can see still we are getting the same results by using these script tags before the closing body tag. Will improve anything else that comes here on top. All right, so let's say if we add a paragraph tag here, then I will do some rorem 20, and then when I save, you see this is displaying with some speed better than when it was here. So maybe you have a lot of code, a lot of HTML elements that are doing several things. You have images, you have links. So at the end of the day, your JavaScript, the JavaScript code which is inside the head tag will slow down the loading time, rather, to display your HTML elements on the browser. So that's the second way of doing it. So now let me just get rid of this completely, and also get rid of this, and show you now the last way of using JavaScript with HTML. So guys, I have a folder called JS here, and then I have this one file index.html. So now we are going to use an external JavaScript file to use with our HTML file here. So I'm just going to create a new file and call it main.js. So JS is an extension for JavaScript, the same way we have .html, which stands for Hypertext Markup Language. All right, so I'll save that. I'm going to split this window, close this one. All right, so now then I'm going to collapse this to create some space here. So now on this one, guys, note that when you're using an external JavaScript file, you're not supposed to use scripts tags here. Right? So script tags are not used inside JavaScript external file. So you just start punching your code. So let's declare variable the same way we did the other one. Let's now use, okay, let's go with let again, and then we call this a name again, and then we say use single quotes, then a semicolon there, and then we say this is my first JavaScript code. Right? So then you can come here and console.log. That is there. But now note, even if I save this, nothing happens on the console yet. The reason being, we have not linked our main.js file in our HTML. So how are we going to do that? So come here, as I said, before the closing body tag, we are going to use our script, but this time we are going to use a source. All right, so where is the source? So the source is main.js. Okay, and we save that, and you can see now our variable name is being displayed on our console. So basically, guys, that's how we can use JavaScript with HTML. So the first way is by putting your JavaScript code in between script tags inside the head section and in the body section before the closing body tag. So guys, the next video we are going to look at how to the data types, JavaScript data types, and how to declare these variables as well, the keywords used to declare variables, and the naming convention of variable names. All right, so guys, that's what I had for you for this video today. It was just an introduction to be able to get you to understand the ways we can use JavaScript with HTML.